when I first got to the rear company area, just before I went to the field, I met a guy, and we introduced ourselves. And he said, "My name's Mike Harbottle." Mike, he said, H-A-R bottle. So I said, "My name's Mike LaForce." Mike, L-A, Force. And he said, "Call me Red." So I said, "Call me Blue." You know, so for some reason, when we got to the company, we were introducing ourselves. He jumps off, he tells everybody, "I'm Red, he's Blue." So I was Blue from then on. That was my nickname. Nobody even knew my real name half the time. And we became really good friends. We became squad leaders together and came home and together. We were there the whole time together. Just a wonderful friend, and quite a character. He was from Ohio. He was a drag car freak. He had his brother buy a car while he was there, and all he did was talk about. I learned more about cars just listening to him than I ever wanted to know, you know. And he was from Ohio, but he was kind of south. Had a drawl, and but he's quite a character. I mean, when we made squad leader, they called us up and they said, "Okay, you're going to squad. We're going to make you acting squad leaders." And Harbottle said, "No acting. We want the money," you know. So 2 days later, they sent orders out on the helicopter, so we were getting paid for it. They made sergeant together because he was one of my best friends. Passed away fairly young at a heart attack, and I wish I had kept in contact with him, but nobody did. Once we got home, as close as we were, we didn't contact anybody for years and years. It was one of those things, I think he just walked away. I said, "It's over. Let it go." The shame, you know. Fortunately, I went to a couple reunions, maybe 10 years ago. Got to see a lot of the people. Red had passed away. It's about quite a character, a real character.
One of the things I wanted to ask you is, if you could talk to Fox or King or Han or Harbottle or Lonnie one more time, what would you say?
Yeah. Just miss your brother, you know, and wish we could have a beer, you know. Mm-hmm. Harbottle could drink beer. Harbottle loved beer, you know. But I'm so glad. I didn't get in contact with anybody for years and years. And one Christmas, I started looking through the phone. You know, back then, just had operators, you know.
Yeah.
So I found Red Harbottle, Ohio. You know, I called him. I don't know, it was Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve or something. It was just a Sunday night, I think. So I got a hold of him, and we talked until he had to go to work in the morning.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I ever talked to him. He died not after that, not too soon after that. Yeah, I'm so glad. He worked for some car company. He loved vehicles. He had cars. I remember I called him. I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Well, I'm car poor. I got this. I got a Porsche, and my wife's got this, and that's all we do is pay for our cars, you know." But when we were over there, he sent money home to his brother. They were building a drag car.
Yeah.
And I learned more about cars just with him, you know, than I ever knew.
Yeah. I didn't know you talked to him.
Yeah, one time.
But I bet that was great.
Oh, I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Glad I did. He died pretty young, heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, he was. I knew something. We were. He's the one that gave me my nickname, you know, and I gave him his. And boy, he was a hillbilly, but street kid.
Yeah. This
is a picture of my friend Mike Harbottle, also known as Red. We were best friends. We came into Vietnam the same day. We were in the same squad for a while. Then we both became squad leaders together in the same platoon. and we left together. For years, I never kept in touch with him. I finally got a hold of him one night. I think it was Christmas Eve, called him, and we talked all night. And I'm glad I did, because shortly after that, I got word that he passed away from a heart attack. And I only had that one meeting with him, and that might have probably 20 or 30 years after Vietnam. And what a shame that we never got together, because some of his relatives have written to me over the years asking about him. And I've sent them pictures and told our story, because he told them about me. And I was glad to do it.